Welcome to another episode of the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast.
I hate to keep revisiting this, Jodi, but I do have a lot of questions about, the loss of your dog, Stella.
Sweet Stella, the little pitty.
How are the other dogs react? Did they like instantly know, hey, something isn't right here?
Yeah, they're animals. I mean, they know things that we can't tell them.
But I don't know how...
What?
Yeah.
They sense things we can't.
Oh, okay.
To me, it wasn't as marked this time. It was the biggest thing that I noticed is when Stella was on the decline, is that both dogs would walk up and lick her in the face. Mm-hmm. So they obviously, they knew something then. But really, once she had left the house and you went and walked our dogs that night, they appeared to be quite normal, probably because of their routine.
Well, first of all,
I don't know that they've been looking for her, but
dogs are more in the moment than humans.
Boy, tell me about it. It's just like when you leave the house and come back 3 hours or 3 minutes later.
It's a lovely
you've been gone
way.
Forever.
It's a lovely way to be, right?
I know.
Live in the moment. In fact, have you ever seen that meme? Oh, it's one of the greatest. I'm going to find it and post it later today if I can find it. It's a picture of a man in his back, and he's sitting and looking out at a lake, and he's with his dog, and his thought bubble shows bills and schedules and kids and deadlines and all the things that he's thinking about, worry, the human life, and the dog's bubble is, I'm sitting here with him. Or something simple like that.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
And that's it's like, oh yes, and that's how dogs are. I'm not saying that they can't be sad or thrown off or emotion based. Yes, they can be, and yes, they are. You're never gonna have anything love you like your dog.
Right.
In fact, I always say we don't deserve dogs. Really, once you've had several of them, the way that they love you and the way that they would do anything for you, my gosh, we almost don't deserve them. But it's almost like they just understand what's going on. Mm-hmm.
They
understand that there's been a change in the pack and that she's gone.
When we were in the vet's office the other day, did you see the little sign on the wall? I thought it was funny. Another one of the differences between dogs and cats.
Your favorite.
When you want a dog to come, you call his name, he comes immediately. When you call the cat, they just tell you to make an appointment.
I did not see that.
That's kind of true. I've seen a million of those things.
I love cats too. I just haven't had them in forever because Phoebe's allergic.
Phoebe's allergic to them, and we had cats until Taylor was born. And then after that, I don't remember why.
I do.
I had a hang up with the litter box being in the house. I really didn't want that around babies, Not that that's just me.
Do you remember Taylor wanted a dog? She was like very small and she wanted a dog.
Yeah.
And when my last cat died horribly, it was horrible. I remember telling her, remember this? She was like 2 or 3 years old, and I remember thinking it was going to break her heart to tell her that he had died. His name was Black and White.
Because that's the way he was. Spotted,
I didn't name him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always loved that name, though. I thought it was cool.
My ex named him.
Yeah.
Who named Mama Cat?
Me. Mama.
She was a mama cat.
Yeah. Anyway, when that cat died horribly and we told Taylor, I thought it was going to be so upsetting for her, and I'll never forget. She was on the swing in the backyard.
Yeah.
And I said, baby, I just wanted to tell you that Black and White died.
Well, you remember what we did, though, to help that.
Right. We had a balloon ready.
She drew on a balloon and she released the balloon.
Then she looked at me, she said, can we get a dog now?
Yeah, that was the first. That was the very next thing. Once the balloon had moved out of sight.
So you never told her how Black and White meant?
Not when she was 2.
Not when she was 2. They know now. It was, it was just a bad scene. It was like a mafia movie. You know what I mean? He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Wild dogs.
I'd never seen the first wild dog in the neighborhood ever. It's like, I don't know where they came from,
Anyway.
They were all smoking,
hanging out on the corner.
Okay.
Chasing cars.
Anyway, so that's when we started our search in rescue and found Chevy. And that began our, rescue journey. And then I got into fostering a couple of years later. We have successfully fostered about 40 dogs. And then we've had 4 at one time. We've had 6 at one time, too many.
That were our own, yeah.
So our kids are used to this. And Stella was Phoebe's dog. Mm-hmm. Stella was going to be a foster, and every time I brought her to an offsite event and introduced her to people, somebody had filled out an application on her and then backed out because their job had changed and they were going to be traveling. She was almost adopted by a woman who was an attorney. I don't know if you don't remember that, Murphy, but She would have been a great home for her. I loved it. I was so excited.
Yeah.
She was going to bring Stella to work with her every day because she had her own firm. I was like, this is the life.
And then Phoebe showed up and started crying.
No, the lady, she got news that she had to start traveling some. So she said, you know what? I can't. I want her, but I can't. So I was bringing her to another adoption event that Sunday, and Phoebe said, Mom, I know we're supposed to be fostering her, but can I have her? Can we adopt her? Because she had originally been looking for some little fluffy thing.
Yeah.
She'd wanted a toy dog.
Well, she'd
Remember?
already had a Pomeranian, and it was going to,
That had passed.
Oh, Felixs, yeah.
Yeah, and I
the
didn't.
love of her life.
He was a great dog. I just didn't want to go that path again.
Why?
The little dog.
Poms are just challenging around the rest of the pack, and they're just kind of, really,
Napoleon complex.
Oh, gotcha.
And he-
Yippy little things.
Well, yeah, and he would spin and pass out, and there was just a little
That
weirdness.
was a heart condition. That's not based on him being a pom. He had
Okay.
a heart condition.
Okay.
That sounds like a party trick to me. He would spin and pass out. Watch what he can do.
Well, after he had passed, she grieved him so hard for such a long time, even after adopting Stella.
She used
Oh,
to dress him up, too, didn't she?
She did, and she actually had a service for him, a eulogy. That's how serious it was, and it was really
We let
it
her
was
do
beautiful.
it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that was part of that healing process for her, and so we let her do that.
She died. I mean, he died. Felix died in like November or December.
Of 2013.
And then in February, when she brought some schoolwork home of that year, I saved it. I will never forget. They were told to, draw this beautiful Valentine and write a Valentine to someone that you love. It doesn't matter who it is. No judgment. Write a Valentine. And hers was to Felix in heaven. It was the most beautiful childlike written thing I'd ever. And the end of it is, I wish you could just come back to me. I hope you're playing and running. And I literally wept when she brought that home.
Yeah.
I still have it. So anyway, fast forward to today.
Well, if you had a eulogy, did Felix wind up in the yard, or that was just a service?
No,
No,
I
that was a
believe he
service. We stopped doing that.
Well,
not that there's anything wrong with that, but I've only done that once since Jodi and I have been married and together, and that was with Mama Cat.
What, buried an animal in the
Yeah,
backyard?
exactly. For one thing, as many animals as we have, there would be a million holes back there, and we don't need to do that. But okay.
Let's keep this light and funny.
Just kidding. I knew that Sam would. So, but now, I'm not very good at it. I'm always afraid I'm not digging it deeply enough, and I don't know. I wear out by the time, so it's
Tough being a mafia
right,
boss.
So I'm letting the vet clinics handle it professionally, which is the way that they should.
Yeah, so she has a paw print of Felix, but and his collar. Anyway, fast forward to today. Stella's her dog, and Stella died this week, Monday. And I've been watching her very closely. Now, she's much more mature and she's much more grown up, and she's handling it. The first day was not good. The second day was a little better. She's much better now. She understands more.
Well, she's 15 now. She's
15 years old.
Versus her being 7 or 8 when Felix
Right.
passed,
So I'm not saying she's still not hurting. She is, and we'll miss her forever. But if I brought a foster dog home today, I wonder if it'd be too soon for her, or if she would go with me and want. I just don't know. I haven't broached the subject with her yet. I wanted her to breathe. She's good. She's going out of town with some friends this weekend.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to give us a minute.
Yeah, I think it's just good for us to pause, not because it's too soon, but 2 dogs is manageable for the time being, and I'm good with that. That's the smallest our pack has been since we had Chevy and Ashley, the original
Since
ones.
the girls were a little bit
right, and so I definitely want to
Bitty.
staff up again because I love the energy of having multiple dogs in the pack. But it's what's really weird is I don't think we had gone through a full. What's the word? I don't want to say full circle, but but in other words,
full transition.
Because the pack was relatively young when we started with all of them, and all of these dogs were about the same age. So other than Chevy, who passed in 2016, the rest have passed within the last 2 years, and so that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even when you understand that that's just life and the way it happens, it still makes it tough. And but I do love the idea of continuing to foster and rescue, and what we keep some and we foster some out.
Yeah, we'll know what
It's
dog is
special.
our dog and what
Yeah.
dog needs to go on to another family.
Yeah.
So right now we have Champ and Layla. Champ is my boyfriend dog. He's that reddish lab pit mix. And Layla is the blue pitty. Big old follow me everywhere heart with feet. She's awesome. But the names Stella and Layla are very close. And I keep accidentally calling her Stella.
Yeah, I did that
And so does
last
Murphy.
night too. Yeah.
And it's kind of like, don't do it in front of Phoebe. But, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
It's life. We're human.
I love how Jodi is, no matter the age of our girls, she's still a protective mom to both, by the way. I mean, Phoebe could be considered the baby of the family because she's the younger. But
she's my baby.
Right. But
baby.
but both girls like that, and I guess that's the part of you as a parent that really never leaves you.
It's a
Even
mother
once they
thing.
grow older, right, exactly, you still have that protective thing. But I bet you.
I wish they never had to hurt, but I know it's life.
And I bet you they would absolutely embrace you fostering again.
I know
They
it.
love that. They think it's cool.
Well, what's funny is that Phoebe's always had this idea that she wants one of the dogs. What do they call bull terriers? Like the Target dog with the long face.
Oh, that's the one.
She's
I
in
want.
love with that type.
Yeah. Whenever Gus, God rest his soul, moves on, I would really love a bull terrier. I've loved those dogs
Really?
since I was a kid.
It's also the Rick Springfield dog from back in the day.
Yeah.
From the
Oh, that's right.
He
Spuds
had
McKenzie,
It was
too.
on the cover of his albums for a long time.
I mean, look, I'm ready for another boxer. The boxers that we've had have been amazing dogs.
Amazing dogs, but like 95% amazing and 5% cuckoo. They are,
but not in a dangerous way. They're just kind of.
But we got to be careful. Those are escape artist dogs. I mean, I've seen a boxer jump a fence. We have to be careful.
Oh, you got the underside of the fence taken care of, don't you?
Yes, now we do with Layla. So, yeah, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I can tell you, being who I am, involved in rescue, and all my friends know about Stella. We've had so much love come at us. You know what's going to happen. My phone will start blowing up soon with this dog needs a home, Jodi. Have you heard about this one? This one's in foster care. Everybody knows we have an open kennel, and it's going to happen.
Oh, that's so true.
It is.
What was
and
that?
I believe in that. I'm not so, of course I wish Stella could have been with us forever. That was never possible. But I am not so hurt. I know she went peacefully and we did everything we could. So I feel good about that. To honor her, I want to save another one.
That's what I was going to say.
Right?
Your desire to continue to, because there will continue to be dogs that need homes.
Yes.
Outweighs the loss of one, and it really that's a very personal thing. I know that some people can't bear the thought, and that's okay. But for us, it's I think having multiple dogs has helped with that because you don't have a void. You know what I mean? You certainly miss the dog, but you don't go from having a pet to complete silence and the pet's not there anymore.
Different thing.
And so maybe, selfishly, that's why I want to keep, when one comes, in, or when one exits, the next one comes in, or, it works.
There's so many that need good homes anyway.
Yeah.
If you've ever really loved a dog, you could love another.
And they're also individually different, and they're also differently special. You know what I mean? Very distinct personalities. No two are alike. That's the rewarding part of it. And other than a few, we've had 40 fosters, so we've had a few that did not work out and they weren't great dogs. And so when you do that many, you're going to come across that.
Or not for us, right?
But for the most part, there were some that shouldn't have been suitable really for too many people because they were better, on a big field or alone or something like that.
Want to throw some names out there?
I had a few of them.
Well, one that I really wanted to keep was I named him Mr. Bates. Remember Mr. Bates?
Oh, he was the biggest escape artist we ever had, though.
He loved me more than you. He loved me.
He did.
And
was he the one with three legs?
No.
Okay. No, we had one that had 3 legs at one point. Was that the Palm I'm thinking of?
Oh yeah,
we fostered one that had three legs.
Yeah, we fostered.
And I just
fostered
remember
a tripod.
Yeah, right.
That made me very nervous because
It
we
made
had
me
little
nervous,
big
too.
dogs around him. But no, Mr. Bates was this little black dog. I can't remember the breed, but it was so funny. He was so in love with me that I would get out of the shower, walk out of the bathroom, and he'd be sitting on my pillow like, "Are we going to sleep now?"
Yeah.
And when he kept getting out in the mornings, it was when I would leave. And that's almost too much.
Yeah.
Because
if he's that needy.
He was too needy. He would have been up under my feet constantly. He had bonded with me. And he was one of those types that needed a person.
Yeah.
And the one thing I knew that it wasn't going to work out is that the girl, he was on the bed with me one day, and the girls came in to run and play, and he growled at them. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
We can't have that. And then this man wanted him anyway to adopt, and he got adopted. He got a good home.
Yeah.
You know.
And we've learned enough of that over the years. If they don't gel with the pack, then you know pretty much that they're more of a people dog. And Layla's interesting because she loves running with the pack, but she's a people dog too. She's both, but she doesn't isolate. When the dogs isolate from the rest of the pack,
that's weird.
Yeah, and so
watch out for the loners.
That's when we know that they need to be in a different a different home environment.
Some dogs need to be the only dog.
Yeah. And that's which is fine. Yeah. That to me is the intriguing part of this. Getting to know the individual personalities of every dog has been fascinating to me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of addicted to us having multiple dogs because it's fun.
It's fun for us. I mean, it's crazy for other people.
What did your oldest daughter Taylor say though this week?
Phoebe, on Monday night, Phoebe said, "God, we only have 2 dogs now." And Taylor said, because she was picking up her plate and leaving the table, she goes, "Yeah, like a normal family." So true that.